Caleb, good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. It's good to see you all. I know we have a lighter agenda today, so I will try to be expeditious and do want to touch on a few topics, and then we'll hopefully have a good discussion on a rulemaking to present here in a minute. I did want to let the commission know, since last time you all met, you all had approved the used tire program rate minute order. We were at legislative council, I guess it was last week, and they decided to kick it to public health. So we get to meet or we'll present y'all's approved minute order and have an opportunity for discussion with joint public health next week, next Thursday morning. So we'll be presenting that, and we'll be working through, I presume after that, there may be the following legislative council meeting. We'll see, but we'll keep you all apprised as that moves forward. But we had kind of anticipated being able to report back on their review process, but as the way the legislation is written, it's not really clear what subcommittee or where it needs to go, what committee or subcommittee. And so we showed up with bells on and we're ready to go last Friday and got told to hold our horses and then we'll have to come back. So we will go present that, and we will keep you all in the loop on that as that progresses. But right now, we're on their agenda for February 29th. You may have also seen, wanted you all to be aware that EPA did put out, now I don't think they've run it at the Federal Register yet, but a revision to their PM 2.5 NAAQS standard. They lowered it from 12 micrograms per cubic meter to 9 micrograms per cubic meter. They had entertained between 8 and 10, maybe more. That have been what they had kind of put out there. So they did not go as low as we and others had been concerned they would go. Right now, our Office of Air Quality team is analyzing our data that we have, assessing it against this new standard that they have updated and will soon run the Federal Register. Right now, we look like we're in pretty good shape, but this is one of those, it's 3 years of data that, kind of rolling for us to monitor. Right now, I think we should be in good shape. There may be some places in the state where we're definitely going to watch closely, but I think we'll be all right on that. But that, over the next few weeks, that process will continue with our internal team. We will have some submittals to EPA in about the next year or so, just to verify we've completed all of our due diligence and all of that. But right now, we do not anticipate having anything go into a non-attainment, which would be good news for the state.
Let me ask you, is that number, that's nationwide? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't generated by anything?
No, it's my understanding that was their new across the board for everybody.
Thank you.
Another thing our Office of Air Quality has been working on that we have mentioned previously is our Energy and Environment Innovation Plan. This was the plan that you may recall we mentioned that we received some money through the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant, CPRG. The EPA was putting money out. We're working on this plan, and then once the plan will be submitted at the end of this month, so I can't give you all the final specifics because there's a lot of details we're finalizing before we submit. Once our plan is submitted, then entities can apply to EPA for competitive grant funding. And so the final details we're doing is Arkansas may participate in some coalitions with other states trying to pursue some grant funding. EPA has really encouraged states to try to go on a coalition basis. They're giving out total nationally is $4.5 billion, but they're wanting to do it in a number of larger projects. So I think we'll have some that we will participate in some applications. Like I said, that's being finalized, and we'll know here in the next here by next week. It has to go in by the 1st. What we're gonna continue to pursue, and then we'll submit those applications actually by the end of March. It has to go in by April 1st. It's a very tight turnaround on applying for the grant money. A number of really wonderful projects have come to the fore. We've had a lot of engagement with stakeholders. We've also worked with Metro Plan, Northwest Arkansas Planning Commission, and the City of Fort Smith. We anticipate that they will work together as their own coalition of local governments to also seek some funding. So I think there's some things that would be very beneficial to the state if we're fortunate enough to receive that funding. So more to come on that, but that will be completed before we see you all again. So wanted to put that out there. And our air quality team has done an excellent job. This has been a very time-intensive process, a lot of stakeholder engagement, and that which is an important part of what we do, but is also can be a very challenging part of what we do to make sure we get all the people to the table, give them an opportunity to be heard. In terms of, want to mention a staff update. You know, previously we talked about new leadership in our air quality and water quality team. Today we're joined by, sitting up here in the front row, is Colby Jones, who is our new associate environment administrator. I always get her title wrong. Actually, when Bailey Taylor previously had this role, I used her wrong title for about 9 months. So I'll finally get a hang of it eventually. But Colby comes to us. She previously was director of Keep Arkansas Beautiful. She's been in state government for a year or two now, and actually has some past experience there and has done a number of other things. But she's going to be a really great leader and a real driving force for our success coming forward. Did also want to mention, I believe last time we were together, or the previous time, we talked about that we were going to be rolling out our new data management system platform that we use. It's really going to be the underpinning of pretty much everything we're going to be doing on our programmatic level in DEQ. We've named it SEEK. And we have had the initial rollout has gone really well. Our first handful of programs have started that. We're getting ready to enter the next phase for our next round of programs, moving folks over to that. We've had very pleased with how that is going. We're very proud of our team. I've told them at some point, even though I don't think any of them want to do this, at some point we'll bring them in here and introduce them all to you all, because they've made tremendous strides for us. So the initial phases are out there. We're getting into kind of our next phase of additional programming and working very aggressively towards bringing more and more of our permitting and licensing and soon our inspection and compliance and enforcement pieces onto this same platform to really streamline our processes and what we do. If any of you all are interested and just want to see what it looks like, our Energy and Environment YouTube page, we have some tutorial videos that our communications team has done. You can go take a look and see how that works. We're also going to be pretty busy coming into this spring, is AEF and AWWWA and some of the other trade industry groups are having their spring meetings. We're gonna asking for some time and opportunity to showcase how this works, and really it can be intimidating for some of our stakeholders to move over to electronic submissions and doing all this, but the ability to have more rapid turnaround, immediately have a record that you can retain for your records and some of those things. It's been a great improvement, and we think it makes us more effective at doing our job. Final thing I'll mention this morning, and I know that Commissioner Melton is not here, but he had asked at the previous meeting for a kind of a target date for when we intended to move forward with our nutrient trading rule. We have been working very diligently on that for a number of months, particularly this last month, and we've made great strides on that. Our plan right now is by the middle of next month, we're going to provide a draft, kind of a pre-draft of that rule to stakeholders who've been engaged on this. We have a number across the state that have reached out to us. I believe the entities that Commissioner Melton had mentioned are primarily those involved in Northwest Arkansas. That's very important. But we also have some here in Central Arkansas and other parts of the state that are tracking this closely. And so we'll look for opportunities to engage with them. So our goal is to have something to the governor's office and hopefully back to you all. But we're really targeting by the end of May, having something to the governor's office, and hopefully that way by this summer, we can be coming to you all and going out with the rulemaking. So we'll move faster if we get everybody just agrees with us and thinks we're doing a great job as we engage stakeholders. But we think based on how the history of the previous version of this rule went, we want to make every effort to get everybody, or a previous version of a similar rule, when we want to try to get everybody on the same page up front as well, as much as we can. So we'll provide you all updates as we move forward. That's what we're targeting. We'll keep you on the loop, and we also, we'll make sure that we share with Commissioner Melton when we get and we'll share with Judge Moulton, and you all can know as well once we start that engagement with stakeholders, because we do want y'all to know, I know it's been a priority for this commission to move forward. So those are the highlights that I have for this morning. Unless there's any questions.
Any questions from any members of the commission? Yes, not. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have our public comment period. John, any cards?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think we have any cards. I think you'll just have to do a call in terms of public comment. I know that somebody had reached out to Ms. Goff earlier this week about whether we're having a meeting, but I don't see them present here for public comment, which may be a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if anyone has any public comments in the audience.
No comments. All right, that's fine. We'll move on. Now we're going to take up rule number 12, regulated storage tanks, the petition to initiate rulemaking. Caleb, are you handling that?
Yeah. I started to stay up here, but did not want to be presumptuous. So, our chief of staff had originally, she had offered to be here to do this, and I was not going to be able to make it. So I figured you guys wouldn't be too rough on me. So try to be nice. So we're here today. We have a petition to initiate rulemaking revisions to Rule 12, which is our storage tank rule. You all should have that in the minute order to start the rulemaking. So there are some, as you know, with some of these rules, there's sort of nomenclature changes that catch up with the language of the rule to how we look as we look as a department and as an agency now. There are a few of those changes in there. The primary one, though, is during last session, I think it was Act 422 of 2023, did the reimbursement cap that is there for corrective action projects that are going on, tanks that are part of the program and under the trust fund are eligible for reimbursement. The previous level was up to $1.5 million. The changes in the last session raised that to $2 million. So we needed to change the rule to reflect the new total amount that's eligible under the revised legislation. The legislative cap changed, and that was what we previously had in the rule. We're updating that. There are also a few language changes related to our licensure for those working on storage tanks. There is a provision related to lapse licenses and reinstatement, and another one related to reciprocity and how that part will be administered by our program. I think that brings it into line with update some citations to existing statutory language. It brings it into line with other ways that we're managing that sort of licensure within DEQ. And so we think those are all help give consistency, clarity. It'll help with those that are looking to reinstate their license. We think the reciprocity for those who are coming here and looking to work with it, we think it'll be a positive change. So unless there are questions, and I have some other technical folks from Land Resources that can help answer those, our request is that the commission adopt you should have a minute order, I think, and move forward with initiating rulemaking for Rule 12, amending Rule 12.
I've just got one question. Do you have an idea of kind of looking down the road when you're going to get that in front of the legislative committee for, a review?
So,
I mean, I don't know if you've been thought that far down on this, but
I mean, if we initiate rulemaking today, then we'll have the notice and comment period. That's where it gets very hard to know how long it's going to take. So certainly a couple months out, and then assuming that goes well, then we would hope, I think later this summer, by this fall, we would have it. And we feel like this is a pretty straightforward one, primarily because it's really driven by legislative change. So we hope to be moving forward with that soon. It's hard to know, but once we get to this point in the process, it will be a couple months out before we try to resolve it, or have all of the comment record and all that stuff done to take to legislature. But I think a couple more months should go.
Have you gotten any comment from the local marketers or anyone on that?
So they were heavily engaged in that legislation being done. And actually, I think I saw Mr. Farron here. He needs to speak up on that, but they were supportive of it and they were interested in that. And seeing this cap increase, as we've seen a variety of costs increase for projects and other things that $1.5 million maybe doesn't go quite as much in a remediation project as it had in the past. The trust fund has been very healthy and it can sustain that. And fortunately, most of these projects do not go that high. They don't need to get that close to the cap, but for some that do, this provided that opportunity.
Okay. You think probably be sometime early summer, you'd be back for the final promulgation?
I hope so. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah,
Give us a couple
I understand
months.
how these things go.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from any commissioners? Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the petition for rulemaking?
So
Second?
second.
All right. Been moved and seconded. We have a minute order. Everyone's got a copy of that. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That covers, I think that covers everything on the Rule 12. Judge Moulton, your report?
Mr. Chairman, the report is attached to the agenda. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I'm not going to belabor it, but
Okay.
14 new docketed items in 2023 last year. 13 of them were permit appeals, third-party permit appeals. One was an appeal of an emergency order, which was ultimately dismissed by the petitioner. Out of those, the only 3 remaining items from 2023 are the Pinnacle Mountain appeal. And right now that's on a briefing schedule. The hearing's already been held. And then, of course, the Echo Vista Class 4, that hearing has also been completed and done, and we're waiting on briefing. Actually, we're waiting on the transcript for that hearing. Once that comes in. I said 4, right? Oh, I meant 1. Apologize. 1. 4 was appealed. That one's done. That's actually up on appeal right now in Washington County Circuit Court. So 1 is the one that we are waiting for the transcript on. Once that comes in, we'll have a briefing schedule, and I anticipate for Pinnacle, hopefully by no later than April, maybe March. And then the Class 1, I'm guessing probably about April as well. So we may have 2 of them before the commission at the same time. And my guess is, no matter how it turns out, there'll be oral argument requested on both of those issues. That's it.
All right, thank you. Michael, he did that just to see if you were listening. Okay, is there anyone else have anything they want to bring before commission today?
Please, before you sign the minutes.
Yes, please, yeah, please, Commissioner. So, we are adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.